So extra practice from last time, we were talking about the long I versus the short I sound. And this number 1, the C is going to make it soft sound S because there's an E, I, or Y after it. So number 1 is sift. Number 2 is drimp. Number 3 is clissimp. Number 4 is chai-tib. 5 is drymish. 6 is fitted. 7 is trinistim. 8 is plissimtrip. 9 is litindrim. And 10 is blimpic. Blimpic. I'm going to stop sharing just so I can politely mute everybody. And then we'll come back to this week's lesson. Okay, phonemic awareness warm-up for today. How many sounds in hopscotch? Hard one. Put it in the chat if you can figure out how many sounds in hopscotch. It'll help if you do hop first and then scotch. Okay, hopscotch has ah, p, s, ah, sh, 7 sounds. I'm not sure anybody got that. There's a lot of different, oh, one person got it. There's a lot of different guesses on this one. I knew it was going to be hard. The sounds again are, remember it's a voiceless sound. It's going to want to grab onto that ah sound, but you can't let it. You have to divide those sounds. So, ah, s, ah, ch, 7 sounds. That was a doozy. Try clock. Clock. If you stretch it out, it's easier. Clock. This one. It helps to also see where the shape of your mouth is changing. Yes, clock has k, o, ah, k. And let me just stop sharing so you can see my face for a minute, because that's a super important phonemic awareness skill. And it is a way that you can determine if you are saying it correctly, or if you're doing this on your own, if you are getting it right when you are trying to count the sounds in any word. There's going to be a clean, usually there's going to be a clean mouth shape break. So your mouth is going to change shape between each sound. So if the word was cat, it would be k, and then your mouth goes really big, ah, and then a voiceless sound, t, k, ah, t. Totally different mouth shapes. If the word was, let's do hopscotch, and then watch the different sounds, the different shapes my mouth is in for every single phoneme and grapheme. Ah, s, ah, ch. So if you can imagine that there has to be very distinct and sustained breaks between each mouth shape, it will help you to know what sounds are broken off from the other, because your mouth can't morph shape and only say one sound. So keeping that in mind, what are the sounds in otter? How many sounds in otter? This one's a tricky one. You have to put the letters out of your mind. Wow, excellent. Yes, otter has 3 sounds. Ah, t, Ah, watch the different mouth shape. Ah, t, Nice, 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 nice. Beautiful. Okay, so our new teaching today is IGH. IGH comes, I mean, it's not super common, but you're going to see it in a lot of common words. So it's not in a lot of words, but the words that it is in are common. The I is long, the GH is silent. So when you see IGH in any word, you can ignore that GH and just know that the I says its name. It says I. IGH says I, as in high, as in opposite of low, high, or light, or light. There's going to be a T at the end of a lot of these. Okay, let me clear that and let's practice this. Okay, so me first. This one's going to be kind of easy because I'm going to circle the whole vowel team, the IGH, and it's going to be the long I sound. So this one just has two sounds. It's sh, I, shy, kind of like the real word shy. It looks a lot harder than it sounded, doesn't it? That looks like a crazy, wicked word. Looks like a monster. But if you know that that IGH just has the long I sound, then suddenly it's a lot easier. You try yours over here. Okay, so the sounds are ch and I, chai, chai. Nonsense words, right? It's not, I mean, this one ended up turning into a word that we know, shy, but the rest of these are going to be nonsense words. Chai. Let's talk about the CH for a minute. This is a spelling hack that you are going to want to take note of. This is a common and important spelling rule. When do you use CH and when do you use TCH? Here's the rule. You use CH always unless the letter right before it is a short vowel sound. A short vowel sound. Then there has to be a TCH after it. Let me give you some examples. Sorry about my writing. Okay, examples of, let's see, if you can put in the chat examples of words that end with a ch sound. It can be a CH or a TCH. Thank you. Keep them coming. Words that end with ch, 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 ch. Thank you. That's a good one. So let me make this bigger. Oh, batch. That's a good one too. Let me write that one down. Church. Okay. So if you'll see here, we have a CH and a TCH. TCH, 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 CH, TCH, CH. Every time there's a TCH, there's a short vowel sound right before it. Ah, 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 spelled with an A, and we're going to learn all about why that A is saying ah after a W in, I think it's May. Here's an A. So same with, I mean, it doesn't have to be just A. There's like fetch is a T, itch, right? So here are some other examples of not A words, but it follows the same rule. If there's a TCH, It's going to come right after a short vowel sound. TCH, short vowel sound. The short vowel sounds are the ones that aren't their name. A, I, and a. If there's a CH, there is not a short vowel there. Okay? That is 100% of the time. That rule works 100% of the time. And we love 100% rules, don't we? So when you're spelling and you come to a word that ends with ch, or anywhere in the word actually, except for the very beginning, think about the letter right before it. If it's a short vowel, put that T in there. Otherwise, it's going to be just a plain old CH. Was that helpful? Did you already know that? Put in the chat if you knew that already. Just curious. Yeah, it's a pretty fun rule, right? I mean, pretty handy. You're gonna see that, and I'll remind you a few times of these little spelling rules along with reading rules, because they are they can be hard to remember, but super helpful. Yeah, nice. Okay, let's get back to here and let's do our number 2. So I identified this whole trigraph. Trigraph means 3 letters that make one sound. Digraph is 2 letters that make one sound. TCH is a trigraph. CH is a digraph. Makes one sound. So it's going to make the long I sound. Here is a 3-letter blend, STR. When that happens, usually an R or an L is the last letter. And you have to be very careful that you pronounce each sound correctly and don't leave any of them out. So this is S, I, T, strite, strite. Remember we talked about before about the TR, how it can sound like a CHR if you were not careful. Like train can change to train if we're talking kind of sloppily. So when you're saying this word to yourself right now, try to keep that TR really clean. Strite, strite, kind of like straight, but strite. Okay, let's try yours. Okay, here we have TH is a voiceless sound, usually. It can also have voice if there's a vowel on one side or the other, like in the or this. But right here, it's usually voiceless. So here is I, t, thrite, thrite, thrite. Will you put in the chat if you got thrite right? That was fun to say. If you got thrite right, put it in the chat so I can see. Nice. Right. No, don't you worry. Don't you worry. Perfection is not required, right? Okay, let's keep trying. All right, so this guy, I'm gonna have to figure him out. I'm gonna circle him so I can come back and do the tab 2 rule. Here's an IGH trigraph that I just learned says I all the time. The tab 2, both of those are consonants, so that's going to make it short sound I. So when I pencil read that word, it's I, G, I. Imgry, imgry, imgry. Try yours. Okay, this one made me look a couple times. Okay, so we have the tap 2 rule. Both of those are consonants. That's going to say I. So let's see if we can do this. I, o, st, I. Ilsty. Ilsty. That L is hard. Ilsty. It's hard to wrap. It's hard for your tongue to wrap itself around all of these different sounds. L makes everything hard. Ilsty. It's not easy. Yes, that was so hard, Skylar. You're right. I wanted to talk about this G real quick right here. Remember when the G is part of an IGH, it's going to be silent. We're not going to hear it at all. In any other word, it's going to have its hard sound and its soft sound. And we've talked about this before, but I'm going to always bring it up and remind people. People are new, and it's always good to have reminders. If there is an E, I, or Y after a C or a G, they will make their soft sound. Any other time, they're going to make their hard sound. The hard sound for G sounds hard, G. The hard sound for C sounds hard. The soft sounds are S and J. So this is going to say G because the next letter is not an E, I, or Y. That is kind of a confusing rule, and it's a lot of information to kind of take in, so I will repeat it often. All right, let's come down to number 4. Here is a vowel I have to figure out. Here is an IGH that I already know what it says. This guy has 2 consonants after it, so it is going to say I. All right, when we pencil read it, it's I, P, I, T. I'm going to go slow on this one. Fur, ri, frin, frinp, frinpie, frinpite, frinpite. That's not easy either. These are not easy, you guys. Frinpite. Amy, how'd you do on that one? Good. All right, let's try. I'm going to make this a little bigger. Let's try your number 4. Be quiet while you work. Okay, this one might seem a little easier because you might recognize this word right here. So if we pencil read it, it's P-O-I-M, limb, fight, fight, limb fight, limb fight. Was that one a little easier? Not really. Limb fight. Okay, let's come down. Okay, good. It was a little easier for Brenda. That's good. I also wanted to mention about the, you know what? I don't think I do want to mention that. Okay, I probably have you curious now. So I'll just say, there is a big controversy about the sound of the letter R. I don't know if you knew that, but I also didn't know if you know that I am a TikToker. Who knows that I'm on TikTok? Does anybody know that? Vanessa knows, Amy? So I put little teaching tip rules on TikTok almost every day. And sometimes I'll put the sounds, the correct sounds of the alphabet. And I'll put a little banner above myself and I'll say, warning, this is going to be controversial when I get to the letter R. And I just set myself up and I just I grit my teeth. I'm like, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready. And I hit post and then I get bombarded with, that is not the sound for R. So, I like the sound for There's some people, there's another camp that says R says R, R. Just breaking off the sound and bringing in the I had a student yesterday, a private student, who we were going back and forth between and R. And there was one word that he was reading and he used the R, and that just kept getting in the way of what the word that he was trying to read. So I like the very clean sound of But people say, it's not rabbit. I'm like, well, it's not raw abbot either. So it's a tricky one. So that's what I decided that I wasn't going to bring that up, but then I got you curious. So I did. Let's go down to some extra practice and put in the chat which one you want me to do with you before I have to let you go. The winner is Susan. You're so fast at those. You're always the first one. Oh, there's lots of 8s. Okay, so I'll do 5 and 8. 5 first. We're going to circle that guy, and I know right now, just by looking at it, because there's a double M right there, that I is going to say I. There's a double consonant. It's an automatic indicator that the vowel before it's going to be short. And here's an IGH, which we know now is a reading hack that makes the long I sound. So this word is ite. Drimite. Drimite. Careful of that short I sound. We have to make sure that we get our mouth nice and closed so it doesn't turn into an F, which is easy to do. Drimite. Nice and tight on that I sound. Okay, number 8. Here we have I can tell because of those consonants right here. Here we have an I reading hack, and here we have an I, because there's not another vowel 1 or 2 doors down. All right, so when we pencil read this baby, I want to teach you about that K, but I'm running out of time. Okay, we have K, I, S, I, N. Kimsighten. 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 By the way, I have 30 seconds. You're always going to use a K when you're spelling before an E, I, or Y. And that's the only time you're ever going to use a K when you're spelling. Isn't that nice to know? CK is a different story, but K will only come before an E, I, or Y. C is used much more often because there's a lot more letters than just E, I, or Y. That's why that is Kimsighten. Handy, right? Okay, good class, everyone. Good class. If you want to stay after and ask me a question, feel free. Otherwise, you're amazing. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you next time.